Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy, and I'm back again with another transfer video. And this one, we are going to focus on how each player we are going to sign improves the position in which they are, and exactly what do we get from them. How do we improve basing on the transfers we've made? And at the end of this video, I'm going to do what we would call a prediction. Where will Arsenal finish if we if we get all these players into this squad? With our transfer market and transfer business taking shape, now we know who will come in, we know who has come in, and we know who are expected to come in. So I don't expect abrupt or new transfer targets. I don't expect players like Nabil Fekir now linked to us. Now I don't expect that. I think now we know in central attacking midfield we want Maddison. In central midfield we want Aouar. At centre back we are signing in Ben White. As backup defensive midfield we have Albert Sambilokonga. Backup left back we have Nuno Tavares. Now our transfer market business has actually taken shape, and that's why I've decided to do this video. So at the beginning of the window, I did a potential lineup of how Arsenal could actually line up, and I put in the likes of Bissouma and I put in the likes of Emi Buendia, all transfers that have actually crashed. But in this one, the reason that's why I've decided to do it at this point in time is you have our transfer market really, set out. It is green, so green that no one would be attracted. So let us look at these guys, these players. Obviously, the 7 signings that are coming in are already now confirmed. At least we know who will come in which position, who has already come in what position there and here. So please do smash a like on the video, do subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. How do these players improve Arsenal, and how do we get a very dangerous and deadly lineup out of the 7 new signings Arsenal are making in this summer? Right, the lads, here we are. This is my 11. It doesn't look like a deadly one, but in fact it is a deadly one. So I've decided to go for a 4-2-3-1 formation, which can easily become a 4-3-3, and it can also easily become a 4-2-3-1 and a 5-3-2 and a 3-5-2. Sorry. So it's really formidable. It's really easy to see. The players that we are linked with just fits into this Arsenal side. I've gone with Ban Leno in goal. I've gone with Ben White at centre back. I've gone with Gabriel at centre back as well. Kian Tierney and Max Aarons, because Aarons has been identified as the right back target that we shall go for. Kian Tierney, despite the fact that Nuno Tavares has come in, you don't expect Tierney to be dropped, because I think, yes, we love Nuno, and I do love Nuno now, very much. But I think what you have in Kian Tierney is lots and lots of miles ahead of Nuno Tavares. And Nuno Tavares has to do a lot to get to that level of Kian Tierney. So Aouar and Thomas Partey, we're gonna discuss a lot, of the midfield. Maddison as well, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Pepe, and Bukayo Saka. That is my starting 11, and a couple of substitutes that we shall actually look at in terms of backup players. So let's get into it. Right. So right to start off with Leno, I think Leno does not improve us in any way because he's not a new goalkeeper. But all you have in Leno, one thing you have in Leno as a team that wants to go into top 4 is you have a goalkeeper that doesn't really command his area so well. He doesn't really command his area so much, but at least he's a very good shot stopper, and that's one of the things I really appreciate him. I appreciate about him as a goalkeeper. Very, very good shot stopper. One of the things he has to work on is how do you is ball distribution. How do you get this ball to the likes of Kian Tierney? How do you get this ball to the likes of Ben White and the likes of Gabriel, or even try to make risky passes to the likes of Aouar, Maddison, and Thomas Partey, who are going to be all around you? I think that is what Leno has to work on this season. But he's a decent goalkeeper. Shot stopping, he is class. If he has a very good defense ahead of him, I don't think it's more of a Runason that you're not really rest assured because you have Leno in goal. I think he's a decent goalkeeper that is gonna give you those shots stopped those good stops, all the time. So think about it. Think about Leno. I know we can have a very big debate on this channel whether Leno should be our next goalkeeper. But I still believe Leno can be our next goalkeeper, really. And then the backup we are looking at is Aaron Ramsdale. So Aaron Ramsdale is the goalkeeper we are looking at as to back up Leno. And I think one of the things we like about him is the fact that he's homegrown. And Arsenal do not want to really struggle with the element of homegrown players. So I think Ramsdale, of course, if Ramsdale comes in, I don't really trust him so much. But if he comes in, you think you have a good goalkeeper as backup, not really as good as Leno, but at least a goalkeeper that is decent. I think it's decent enough to be backup to Leno, but I don't think he's a world-class goalkeeper. If you brought in a goalkeeper like Andre Onana, so I think that is what you get. Ramsdale is also not a very good, ball-playing goalkeeper, but the fact that he is homegrown qualifies him to be our backup goalkeeper, right? So at right back, where we've had a lot of problems, is where you would have a player like Max Aarons. Obviously, Max Aarons coming in would make him, that would make him, the first choice, and then Cedric and Chambers would be the backup right backs. With Max Aarons, there are so many things you get by signing him. So many things. One, he's 21 and he's very, very young. And he's also got the pace. And you look at Aarons and Saka, and maybe you think about one day England playing with Aarons and Saka, two players from Arsenal, two players from the same team. You're gonna have a lot of chemistry between Saka and Max Aarons. That's the first thing you're gonna get. It's gonna be a lot of reciprocity between these two young lads. Saka, who's 20 years of age now, and Max Aarons, who's soon turning 22, currently 21. That's one of the things you're gonna get. A lot of chemistry. You're gonna build, a very strong relationship between Max Aarons and Saka. If you've seen Saka this season, he didn't have any chemistry between him and Bellerin. He didn't have any chemistry between him and Cedric. Neither did he have chemistry between him and Callum Chambers. They really don't understand him. And I think to give Saka more freedom, you need someone who's so good, at right back. And I think Max Aarons gives us that. So what I think Max Aarons gives us, first and foremost, is he'll give Saka the liberty, to shift from these positions and enter inside. Because what you have with Max Aarons, in the way he plays is he plays along this line. That is Max Aarons. Gonna utilize all this line. So Saka really doesn't need to go, to come until this area, because he has a very good right back. Saka just drifts inside, probably finding himself, in more central areas with Max Aarons in these areas as well, so you could find Saka scoring more goals. Obviously, I think Saka needs to work on his finishing touch. It is absolutely poor, very, very poor. But with a player like Max Aarons, that is the first thing you get. You're gonna get more chances from the wings, especially from the right flank. Last season we played so well on the left flank, courtesy of Kianti and his runs. And of course, the freedom he awards anyone that plays on the left hand side, which was Aubameyang then. So you saw much of Aubameyang crossing in the ball. You saw Aubameyang, do all the things, get inside and Pepe and Kiantian getting these areas and creating so many chances for Aubameyang. He was awful, by the way. He didn't score those chances, but that's one of the reasons why Arsenal had so many chances. And if you looked at our hit maps in last season's games, we played more on the left hand side than on the right hand side. There were two reasons. One, you have players like Dani Ceballos that were always passing the ball to the left. But also you have the quality of Kiantiani that was actually attracting a lot of passes from that Arsenal side to the left hand side of the pitch. So Aubameyang would be playing centrally in this area, in this case. But I just wanted to give you an example, a picture of how we were last season. So with Max Aarons now playing at right back, I think we will see more of Saka getting inside the penalty area and leaving all the work, because if you have Max Aarons around this area, then you have Thomas Partey averaging his position around his area. So whenever Max Aarons wants to fall back, he will fall back to Thomas Partey. Now, before we get into Partey, the other thing you have with Max Aarons that I think will benefit Arsenal, and he improves us a lot, is his speed and red. Bellerin is not a very, very fast player, and one of the things you hate about Hector Bellerin is whenever he gets into this area, he's gonna cut inside. He's gonna either cut inside and make a pass to either Houssem Aouar, who's arriving at this point, or to Thomas Partey. He really doesn't. He rarely takes. At times he does, but we seldom saw him take the risk into coming in this area, making to try to make some chances from there. He rarely did that. Whenever he got the ball, he tried to look for a comfortable pass, and I think we need someone who's more of a risk taker in that area. So Max Aarons, defensive wise, is a very good player, and I think Arsenal will benefit from him defensive wise as well. The other signing we are gonna benefit from is Ben White. Now, if you look at Ben White and David Luiz, you might get amazed. The reason there is Ben White has actually made more dribbles than any other player than any other central defender in the Premier League, and he has had more statistics than many other Premier League defenders. He's very good at dribbling and very good at passing. That is one of the things, and he's a very, very calm centre back. But one of the things you love about him, and one of the things we're gonna get from him, is the ability to play from the back. Rob Holding can't do that. Rob Holding can't give you that because he's shaky and doesn't have the quality. So you just imagine Ben White receives the ball from Ban Leno. What he's gonna do is he's gonna move up until this area, all right, and let's say up until this area. What that provides you with is you have Aubameyang gets closer to goal because the likes of Houssem Aouar, Thomas Partey are moving in front to be able to receive the ball from Ben White, of course, and the likes of James Maddison. So what that gives us, a ball playing centre back in modern football, is very, very important, because what it gives you is you can play in the opponent's half. It gives you the ability to play in the opponent's half, rather than having a player like Rob Holding who receives the ball in this area and then passes it to Gabriel, or looks a pass to Kian Tierney or Max Aarons, or Aouar, who would be in this area here, or Thomas Partey, who would be in this area here as well. So what it gives you is Ben White actually has this cobweb passing, but in the opponent's half. He's gonna dribble. He's gonna have this ball. He's gonna dribble this ball until up this area, to distribute it to the likes of Aouar, to the likes of Maddison. And I've already said it, that whenever you have players that dribble the ball, make dribbles, you have players that carry the ball into the opponent's half, it gives you more numbers. It creates more numbers for you, and it's not easy to mark you man to man. But if you're passing one by one from your half to the other half, it is easy for the opponent to mark you out and mark you one by one. So that's the thing you get with Ben White. He's always going to dribble this ball. He's going to make dribbles into the opposition half, and it's going to be very, very good. But I think the other thing you get from Ben White, a very calm centre-back that plays many games, and also a player that can complement well, can blend well and be complemented well by Gabriel Magalhaes. Good in the air. Gabriel is good in the air. Ben White not so good in the air, but very, very calm. So a game reader in Ben White and a sweeper in Gabriel. I think Arsenal will get a perfect defensive partnership, at that rate. Right. So we move into the midfield where you have Thomas Partey and Asamoah. I expect Arsenal to have such a midfield, because it is more of a pressing midfield. Very pressing, very aggressive, very ambitious. So one of the things Aouar gives us as a player in the midfield, replacing Granit Xhaka, is he's a very ambitious player, very ambitious. So despite the fact that we might see his heat map more to the left, probably around here, that could be Houssem Aouar's heat map, and that could be his average position. But one of the things you love about Houssem Aouar is his urgency, the speed, in which he acts, and the urgency. I think urgency is one thing that really lacked in the Arsenal side last season a lot. Really a lot. Arsenal didn't actually do I don't remember a game where we passed the ball with a lot of intention, with a lot of intent. It wasn't there. Howsam Awa definitely gives you that, and he's also very good at dribbling the ball. His average position is around here, so that makes Thomas Partey a little bit deeper, and that takes away the freedom of Thomas Partey. But we have nothing to do. If Awa is gonna play with Thomas Partey, then you've got it. Unless the two players are gonna play in a 4-3-3. If both of them are gonna play in a 4-3-3, then they could have almost the same advanced average position, probably around here. And then you have James Maddison almost very close to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So in my case, what you get from Howsam Awa, the first thing is the dribbles, to carry the ball all around this area. Go pick this. To carry the ball all around this area, all by himself. And I've already spoken about that. You have a player who carries the ball. It gives you it's easier to penetrate through into the opponent's half than passing it around sideways. The other thing I think we get from Howsam Awa, and it's very important, apart from the urgency and directness, is goals. Goals from deep into the midfield. Last season he scored 7 and 3 assists. So you have a player who can actually create many chances from these areas. Many chances as possible from these areas. And that's one of the things that clubs like Manchester City have. De Bruyne, Rodri, and Bernardo, they create so many chances from deep. They create very many chances from deep, as well as from the flanks. And I think with Max Aarons and Howsam Awa, Arsenal will also get that. So you have Howsam Awa getting you chances from these areas. But the other thing with him is his average position is a little bit advanced than that of players like Lokonga and Partey. So you have him come closer to these areas. He's either gonna score. And he's always going to score a couple of goals, around 5 or 6 goals in a season, or 7 or 10. Depends on how the season actually goes. So a player that scores goals deep from the midfield, and another player that creates many chances deep from the midfield. Howsam Awa adds urgency and adds the number of shot creating actions that we have in the side. The last one is James Maddison. Of course, in James Maddison, a risk taker. An absolute risk taker. Something that really Arsenal do not have. Honestly, we've got to speak facts. Arsenal do not have a risk taker. So with James Maddison, one thing you have is goals. And this is all about risk taking. So if he's playing with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang around this area, probably they could be shoulder to shoulder. You have him release many balls, as many balls as possible. For Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. That's the first thing you have. So if you have Maddison, and we've seen him do this with Vardy so many times, releasing Vardy to run, releasing Vardy to score as many goals as possible. And one thing you have in James Maddison, he would unleash Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, because Aubameyang wants to run. Aubameyang wants space, and Maddison is very quick in decision making. The moment he receives this ball, the ball in this area or around this area, he already knows what Aubameyang is going to do. So you're gonna see those passes for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It's either Aubameyang scores or he actually misses. So it's gonna be all about Aubameyang if you get in a player like James Maddison. But the other thing I love about James Maddison, and maybe the reason as to why many people don't like Martin Odegaard, Maddison is a very quick, fast player with a lot of risk taking. A lot of risk taking. So he's gonna shoot at goal. On a couple of occasions, probably almost every 10 minutes, you have a shot on goal for James Maddison. You have a try for James Maddison. we don't have a player who does that. We don't have a midfielder who scores goals. We don't have a midfielder who actually creates chances of that caliber. And his success rate, when it comes to creating chances and shooting, is also very, very high. So you'd get a player who'd actually become a support striker to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. 10 goals from Maddison in a season and 15 goals from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in a season. That is what you expect. So you expect Arsenal to play something like a 4-4-2 when Maddison plays with Aubameyang, because Maddison is more like a support striker and a half 10, half 9. That is how we would line up next season. That would be our deadly lineup, and that is how every player that we are bringing in actually improves the side and improves the position in which they will be playing. My name is Cossy. Please do smash a like on the video. I'm going to speak to you very soon in the next one.